Hey everybody, what's up? It's Pat Flynn here, joined by. That's your
Did
cue.
you want me to say my name there? I'm
Yeah,
Caleb.
that
I'm
was your.
Caleb
We didn't
Logic.
practice
Yeah,
that, so I apologize.
we didn't
But
practice that. We probably should have. Yeah.
welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you are off to a great start to your week. And we are very excited because we're going to be here for the next hour to answer your questions about, of course, our brand new course, YouTube from Scratch, which actually closes today. It's been open for 6 days and some odd hours, and the cart closes tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific or midnight for those of you on the East Coast. And we're here to answer your questions about that, but also just about YouTube in general. Since the last Q&A we had, which was at the end of the webinar last week, we've had even more questions come in. So again, we just are here to help you. And we could go over some of maybe the most common questions that are coming in first while we're waiting for questions to come in. But if you do happen to see us and you are hearing us okay, please let us know in the chat. We'd love to say hello to you. Let's just kick it off right off the bat, Caleb. One of the most common questions that I see that we're getting is, do I need to have my face on camera in order to be successful on YouTube? Why don't you take that one? Because I know that you've helped a lot of other clients with their YouTube channel.
Well, I would throw that back to them and be like, who do you follow online that you have no idea what they look like, or maybe even what they sound like? You know, like people on social media, not necessarily YouTube, but Twitter, Instagram, blogs, all that kind of stuff. Podcasts. You might not have any idea what that person looks like, and that was probably a choice they made. They just didn't want to be that public with themselves, and maybe they're comfortable with their voice and showing their hands or what they're demonstrating or something. But no, you don't necessarily have to have your face on it, and you could have even a caricature version of you be your brand if you want to too.
Yeah, I followed a lot of people from, there was a guy named the Blog Tyrant. I never saw his face. He was just kind of a cartoon version of himself, to a woman named Silicon Valley Girl, who purposefully hid her identity because she was a woman in Silicon Valley and didn't want to be outed or be discriminated against personally as a result of the insider things that she was talking about. I mean, I think the truth is that as long as you're providing value, you don't necessarily need to have your face in there. And there are many examples of that on YouTube for sure. Everybody from Daily Dose of Internet to a lot of these gaming channels where I just see the gameplay, educational channels related to tips on how to do gardening without the person even being seen there. Yes, people do connect with other human beings. People do connect with faces on there, but it's not required. And so that's okay. For me, when I started my YouTube channel in 2009, this was a long time ago, I was afraid to put my face on camera. So what I did was I screen recorded a lot of tutorials and stuff, and it was just kind of my voice for a while. And then speaking of voice, I even know a lot of people who are using these AI-based tools like Descript to type out a transcript and essentially have those voices that are built into the system read the transcript for them so that it's not even their voice too. So the truth is you don't have to have your face on camera. You don't even have to have your voice, but you do have to create videos consistently and keep experimenting, keep looking at the analytics to see what is working and what is not. And you can go from there. Let's say hello to some people in the house. We got AJFN16. What's up? Good to see you here. Robin says, hi, Pat and Caleb. Thank you, Robin. Prodigia, we got Successful Geek, and so many other great people here. Fit over 50. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go to our first question here coming in about the course, in fact. And this is coming in from the Smart Creator. Does the course cover niche ideas and tactics for many types of YouTube channels, not just make money types? I think there's definitely a misconception that in order to succeed on YouTube, you have to teach other people either A, how to succeed on YouTube, or B, how to make money. And that's definitely not true, right, Caleb?
Yeah, it's definitely not true. I mean, to helping people do anything is how you can have some sort of transaction of money or views or subscribers. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be about how to make money online or how to make money on YouTube. Like, this course isn't necessarily specifically about how to make money on YouTube. It's about how to get your channel set up, how to find your niche, how to start making your videos, how to get, convert viewers into subscribers and that sort of thing. But the sample channel we do and the research you do in the course is about a gardening channel. Your other side channel is about Pokemon cards. My channel is about video gear and equipment and teaching people how to make videos. So you don't have to teach how to make money online to make money online.
I agree. And I think if you tell great stories along with whatever it is that you're teaching or showcasing, whether it's your talent or your obsession, the thing that makes you interesting or different, or the resources that you're talking about, then that's really what's going to matter. I think about a There's actually a number of YouTube channels where these guys dive underwater in rivers and water parks and stuff, and they just kind of go around looking for treasure. And that's just really interesting. And that has nothing to do with teaching people how to make money. It's just there is something at stake there. There's a reason to watch all the way through. Of course, the title and thumbnail might present itself something curious. For example, I know a lot of these channels will find iPhones and GoPros, and now it makes you wonder, like, what's on those phones, or can we give it back to the owner? I know a few of them have sort of firearms that they find underwater, and then they give them to the cops, and it's like a handover to the cop in the YouTube thumbnail, which makes you curious about where did that come from? Is that a murder weapon? I don't know. So I'm going to click through and watch, and of course, they reveal that at the end of the video as they are going through those different places and pockets of waterways to search. And it's just those videos have taken off really well because, again, there's something at stake there. There's something to look forward to. So that's a great question. And again, thank you for that. For those of you who are curious, our course, the first-time launch deal ends tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. There's a link right there. smartpassiveincome.com/YouTube-FS. There's also a link in the description for you as well. I also want to welcome a couple of our newest members. For example, we got Karen Cox and also Campbell, who just joined within 10 minutes ago, 11 minutes ago. If you are a student of one of these SPI courses already, also make sure to use your student discount code that you have. That has probably been emailed to you. Campbell's a student of mine and now is in the YouTube course. Karen is a brand new student. And again, this is a fantastic deal because the price will be $499 eventually, but it's only $399 right now. Okay, let's keep going here. Teague says, good afternoon, fellas. I have been wanting to start a channel for the longest time, but I always feel like I can't afford a computer that can run editing software. Caleb, you're the sort of editor in our relationship. Can you talk to that a little bit as far as like computer power and what might be required?
I mean, it's two-part. One part is if you have a phone or an iPad or something like that you're watching this on, like, you should be able to edit video. It becomes more complex and more taxing on a computer the better the camera it is that you use, or the better quality you record in. But most computers nowadays can edit video, especially if it's just a single file that you're using, that you're chopping up. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that now. And if you have a phone or an iPad, there are great pieces of software for those. I'll pull up some and put them in the chat that I recommend that you use to edit using those.
Exactly. From Jeremy, is Caleb a Michigan native?
I am, yeah. Born and raised Northern Michigan. Went to Michigan State, and then got away from the snow as fast as possible.
And now you're in Cali with me.
And I'm in sunny California, yeah.
Robin asks, how important is it to use all 5,000 characters in the descriptions? Now, the description is the area that you can write some information about, put some links to resources. If you are talking about any products and such, be sure to put affiliate links there. Also, be sure to disclose those affiliate relationships if you're doing any brand deals. Same thing, pop the link in there that the brand wants you to put in, but also you want to disclose that relationship too. It's not super important to use all of it, but write as much as you can. That has to do with search engine optimization, but you don't have to stress over trying to get to exactly 5,000 or getting even close to that. In fact, most of my descriptions are not close to that. Actually, let me take that back. Many are close to it because we have the same end part of the description every single time. I do this on Pat Flynn and especially on Deep Pocket Monster, where there might be, several dozen lines that are the same on every video. You can actually, in YouTube, in your channel defaults, you can have a little, I don't even know what they call it, but it's like a signature, if you will. Like an email, right? You can create an email signature that's like the same in every email, and it's automatically populated. You can do that with your descriptions as well. So what do you put in that spot? Obviously, every video will have some unique stuff in it, but as far as like the signature inside of your description, you can link to very popular videos that you might have in your channel that are working, that are also gaining subscribers. You can link to some resources that you might have outside of YouTube, maybe a download or a lead magnet or something. You can link to your social media channels. And you can also have some more just information, a bio, if you will, about what it is that you do and how you might be able to help people. That's what I would include there, because the most important information is going to be up top, which relates to the video and almost acts as copy to get people to continue to watch or just fill in more information about whatever it is that you're talking about. Any further thoughts on the description and trying to utilize as much of it as possible, Caleb?
Yeah, I end up using a lot of the characters in mine because I link to a lot of different stuff as an affiliate in my description, like
Mhm.
all the gear I'm using, the software I'm using, like stuff I recommend, and that alone I think is like 2 to 3,000 characters that it goes in the bottom of every one of my videos. But I don't think you need to use all 5,000. And honestly, it's just better to use things that are related to your video or channel, and then leave it at that.
Nice. Thank you. Yan says, you said that this course is also for channels who have maybe 1 to 2,000 subscribers and feel it's not going anywhere. What do you mean by that? Caleb, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, so I mean, the fundamentals in the beginning half of this course are going to apply to anyone that just feels like their channel's plateaued. Like, I feel like you can get a few hundred subscribers, even a few thousand subscribers, just by doing random things on YouTube. If YouTube picks up a video and people resonate with it and they want to follow your channel, and so a lot of the stuff determining your niche and determining your angle and doing the research on your competitors, which are also like collaborators, all that stuff in the beginning, first module that Pat goes through, as well as some of the stuff of like setting up your channel and starting to figure out what analytics mean. All that stuff is going to apply to people that have a couple thousand subscribers as well. So I think that, yes, there's going to be a few lessons in the course where it's like, this is how you start your YouTube channel, and this is how you click create channel and name it. And like some of those you could probably breeze through pretty quickly. But a lot of the fundamentals in the course we're going to apply to people that feel like their channel's started, but it's not really gotten to where they know it can go yet.
Exactly. Thank you, Yan, for that question. Beautiful answer. Also, big welcome to Andrew Brown, who just joined us a few seconds ago inside of YouTube from scratch. We got the live feed going there. And also, here's the link one more time, smartpassiveincome.com/YouTube-FS. All right, we have a question here, which I'll tackle first. And this is from Successful Geek. I have a love of board games, and I don't need to be that big, but the absolute largest channel in the space is only 300,000 subs. Is that a limit that I should be worried about at all? Now, it's actually a great idea to go into your niche and see, like, what are the biggest channels and about how big are those channels? And it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the limit. It might mean that that's the cap that they've had based on the performance of their videos. And, you know, I know that in the Pokemon space, for example, there's a lot of very large Pokemon channels that could be much larger if they only implemented certain things a little bit differently. Maybe they should take advantage of this course, honestly. But that being said, I wouldn't worry too much about the cap of subscribers because subscribers are just really a byproduct of, and honestly, it's not even that important. I know we talk about subscribers a lot, and yes, we want to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can unlock monetization and all that kind of stuff. But truly, the views are what you want. The clicks on the title and thumbnail and people watching all the way through, because the truth is, most of your views will come outside of your subscribership. This happens in all channels, and actually that's what you want. If only your subscribers were watching, then you're not going to grow. And so I think that although you might have a cap of 300,000, it doesn't mean that you can have a cap on the videos and how well they perform. In fact, many videos could get millions of views, and it might not lend itself to more subscribers as much, but definitely, obviously, monetization opportunities and just more authority and more reach for your other videos that might be more niche versus maybe more general ones that are made for YouTube and browse or suggested and browse. Any other thoughts about that one, Caleb?
Yeah, something we talk about in the course is the difference between a search-based video or channel or like a resource channel would kind of be that type of thing, or the suggested and browse type channel. And honestly, like I play board games with my friends from high school still, like online virtually. We did during the pandemic a lot. I would never subscribe to a board game channel personally, but I would watch interesting board game videos that showed up in my feed. And I think that's a big difference with YouTube nowadays. I think people get really caught up on how many subscribers people have, but a lot of the channels that I watch or a lot of the content I watch, I'm not subscribed to because YouTube knows me better than I do. And it seems like the channels I subscribe to are the things I put in my watch later queue. And the things I actually watch are things that YouTube tells me that I know that I'm interested in. So I think that, don't worry too much about that plateau of the most subscribers in your niche because your views could get way more than the amount of subscribers you have.
Right. Christian says, hey guys, I've started my channel in 2022. Congrats, that's awesome. My question is what to do after I publish a video. Spam it, change title or thumbnail if it doesn't work well. So first of all, let's compare this to what a person might do with a podcast, because in a podcast, which many of you might have a podcast, I've been a podcaster for a very long time, you do have to, like you literally have to do work after a podcast is published in order for it to get found. You have to put yourself out there, market, collaborate, get on other shows, guest podcast, link to it on your website and all this other stuff. That's almost required in order for you to get some growth. Now, that being said, you can grow organically, but the benefit of YouTube is you have the algorithm at your favor. If you help YouTube, YouTube will help you. You help people stay on the platform, get people to click on your videos and stay watching those videos, watch more of your videos after, then YouTube will help you and serve you very, very well. So what do you do after you publish a YouTube video? Well, again, the prep time in order to come up with a great title and thumbnail is really important. We talk about that quite a bit in the course because all that, it's almost like sharpening your axe right before you cut down a tree. A lot of that work up front is going to help you, and hopefully things will start to pick up automatically. And the most important thing to do when you publish a video is just don't spam it, number one. But yes, if you have social media channels and other things, you can link to it out there, but most of your views will come as a result of the hard work you put up front to trigger that algorithm and help YouTube push it out to the right people for you. So the biggest thing to do is check your analytics. I would say within the first half hour to 1 hour after publishing a video, check to see how it's performing. You're immediately going to get a ranking from YouTube in your Creator app or in your dashboard on YouTube when you sign in Creator Studio. You're going to see how it performs related to your other previous 10 videos or 9 videos. And it will say this is ranking 8 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. Very good to know because you're going to understand whether or not there's some good velocity here and if people are actually clicking. And that's essentially what that ranking tells you. Are people clicking on this video to watch it? Because it hasn't had enough time to have sort of just an algorithmic-based push based on watch time because it's just brand new. So it's got to be the title and thumbnail click, right? So it's really important because if you are not performing well, I'd say if you're 7, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10, you have an opportunity to update the title or update the thumbnail to hopefully trigger it or get a nice boost. And then we've seen this happen many times, especially my Pokemon channel. We have a couple thumbnails sort of in the can just in case. And we actually just made a change on our most recent video because it wasn't performing like we thought it would. We changed it up to a more recognizable character that would get more clicks, and that has definitely helped. So that would be the most important thing. And then over time, just again, considering how those videos can connect to newer videos, end screens, links in description, all that kind of stuff, so that YouTube can begin to understand, okay, these videos sort of belong together. They're in a bucket. And you'll see that as you create more of those successful bucket type videos, all of them will rise sort of together. So pay attention to your analytics is probably the most important answer, I would say. Also, big welcome to James, who just joined us in Smart from Scratch 4 minutes ago. Thank you, James. Looking forward to seeing you there. Go ahead.
Can you pull up Corey McCabe's question? It's right before when we were chanting "Go Green, Go White, Go Blue" in the
Corey,
chat.
can artists grow their YouTube channel with teaching how they make their art? I've always felt that I've had to make how-to videos to succeed. Is that truly the most effective way to grow by teaching?
I think that teaching obviously is helpful to get people into your channel because search-wise, they're learning how to do something or they're struggling in a piece of software and they can figure it out, or so that's why I think you see a lot of people. And I know, Corey, you do video stuff like I do, and that's kind of what you search on YouTube, and you see other people talking about, and then you want to talk about it. You want to do reviews of cameras and stuff like that. But I do think you can still teach how you do the art part of it, not just like the technical stuff. Because you say, can you grow your YouTube channel with teaching how you make your art, not necessarily like how-to videos. I mean, they're kind of similar. Like how you make art is similar to a how-to video. So I don't know. Do you have thoughts on this, Pat, about like artists specifically, whether it's video or music or, like more traditional art like paint or drawing?
For me, it's personality. The personality of the pieces and your personality coming up. If you want to put yourself out there, that's what I connect to. The art is sort of like just the medium and the connector between us. The art is the carrot, but then I follow you and your work, and I just get very interested about the pieces that you're creating. I follow a number of artists on Instagram, for example, because I get some beautiful art in my feed that I can look forward to. And I know that, for example, people watch Bob Ross. They don't paint, but we watch it because it's a certain style and it's peaceful. And his, guess what? Personality comes out. And I think that that's where over time you're going to see a lot of that success happen if you just kind of put yourself out there and you have a certain style and a way about yourself. Now, I think the how-tos are very clear as far as what people are searching for, and then boom, they find the answer. But again, if you have an intriguing title and the thumbnail and you get people to watch all the way through, YouTube won't care what people are searching for. They're going to find people to pop that title and the thumbnail on their home feed for, and then hopefully find, more audiences to come your way. So I hope that helps. And a lot of go green, go white, and then Mandy comes in with the go blue, which is just so funny. All right, here we go from Rick. I already signed up and started. Nice, Rick. Thank you so much. But I'm not able to use say hello accountability or ask for feedback. Are we supposed to be locked out? That if you could send an email to help@teamspi.com, we'd be able to help you, Rick, because you should be able to have access to the academy, at which point you will then be able to see the comments and stuff and be, get support. Also, in addition to that, you also get access to me once a week, every Thursday. I change the time every once in a while. Sometimes the days based if I'm traveling or sick or something. But mostly Thursdays is where we have a couple hours to go through Q&A, and I can help you directly there as well. Okay. Corey says, will this course help with staying consistent in uploading? I already have a channel, and I upload videos every now and then, but I haven't been able to stay consistent, which I know is key. Honestly, you don't necessarily need the course. You need to prioritize, right? I mean, the course and investing in the course may help you with that, right? Because you have now skin in the game and you'll want to get your return back. Sure, maybe that is something that is required. But I think that if you find maybe an accountability group or other people, a mastermind group, for example, or you really prioritize and in your head say, you know what, I'm going to commit to one video per week no matter what, and just kind of get into that rhythm, I think you can begin to build those systems. I would also question, why is it hard? What are the hurdles that are getting you there? I know that one thing for me when I started, the hard thing was just getting all the camera equipment ready. And that was just like a big barrier between me and actually publishing these videos, was getting all the camera equipment ready to film. So what I ended up doing was just having a camera set up that was dedicated just for these YouTube videos so that I can just essentially sit down, hit record here, press a button here, and I'm ready to go. And so I've sort of removed that barrier and made it at least a little bit easier, or increased the likelihood that I was going to do that. So again, that's something that helps me. Caleb, any thoughts on just staying consistent as a YouTuber, which is very important for sure?
I mean, what trips me up is I have all these ideas for all these videos I want to do, and I have them listed, and it comes down to like, what's the next video and what's the next step for that video. So what I try to do is I try to treat it like in baseball, when you have like a dugout and that's all your ideas, and then you have like on deck is the next video I'm going to do. I'll get to that, but like, what is in the batter's box right now? Like, what video am I working on right now, and what's the next step on that? So knowing the next step is all about having, your tasks list out for each video. What are all the different steps you have to do? Okay, I have to think of the title and thumbnail first, because that's what we teach in the course. Then, you outline it. Then you need to maybe script it a little bit, or you need to film it and edit it and publish it. And so like knowing all those steps and just knowing the next step is really helpful for me, and not worrying about all these other ideas I have like over here in the dugout.
Exactly. Thank you. And I see a beautiful comment from April and Roy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this course may not be for everybody. And Corey, you're probably at that point now where you're beyond this level of needing to figure out how to get started, what to create videos about. Now it's just a mental game for you to figure out, okay, well, how do I stay consistent? And as Dr. Applesauce here said, priorities are so important. When you prioritize, you do work on that thing. And guess what? When you do work on that thing, you start to see the results. What's up, Gregory? Good to see you here. We got a question coming in from Anna. What's up, Anna? Great to see you here. Thanks for this Q&A. Does your course have recommendations when it comes to smaller geographic markets with low CPM or RPM, or videos for younger audiences or kids? The kids situation, I saw another question come in earlier about kids specifically. Kids channels are treated a little bit differently on YouTube, right? There is something called the COPA Act, Child Online Protection Act, that on YouTube specifically, YouTube got in trouble a couple years ago for allowing a lot of kids to watch these videos, and were getting served ads that, they had no control over and such, and that's not good. So if you have a kids-specific channel, a video that, you watch and it's obviously for kids. Obviously, I have a Pokemon channel, and you might be able to argue that that's for kids, but again, when you look at my demographics, it's actually 75% male between 25 and 44, so it's actually not made for kids, but kids can still watch it. There's a difference there. But kid-specific channels, for example, you are doing storytelling for kids, and it's like literally for kids, then you're going to have to mark your videos as such. If you don't, then you can get your channel sort of removed. But when you do that, it becomes a little bit more difficult to be found because the algorithm doesn't necessarily play the same. You cannot be found in search, and also ads won't be served on your videos in the same way, if at all. But monetization has been able to still happen with channels that do that for sure. And if you have low CPMs, RPMs, really it's about building your authority, building your brand. And essentially, if you, for example, became like Steve from Blue's Clues, you don't have to have any, you know, necessarily money coming in from YouTube ads to be successful because you're Steve from Blue's Clues. So you can, I'm not saying you are Steve from Blue's Clues, but what I'm saying is you can become that personality and have a specific stint that get people to talk and get people to share those videos, and you become known as that personality. I know a lot of people who target kids to help them and tell story, and then they end up writing books. They end up going on stage and getting invited to different places to further that effort and that work, which is really cool. So yeah, let's keep going here. Let's see. Jeremy says, in the past YouTube live sessions, Pat mentioned the word weird when describing one of the ways in which you could make YouTube video content. Yes. So I had mentioned there was like a chart that said like your talent, your experience, your story, your weird. What I mean by weird is just a lot of people assume that what makes them different is what is their fault. But in fact, I want you to flip that story, and what makes you weird is what makes you stand out. What makes you unique. A lot of people might say, "Hey, yeah, well that's different. That's unique, and that's interesting." There's a lot of people on TikTok who, they take their disability, which a lot of people sort of bully them for or look down on them for, and they actually teach about that, and they make that the thing that brings people together. They might have a deformation of sorts or have some disability and actually use that unique thing about them to teach and to inspire others and to bring people together. And I think that's really special. So again, just the idea of weird, meaning that's not a bad thing. I think there's this negative connotation with that word, and I like weird. In fact, I prefer to be weird, because if you weren't, then you're just the same as everybody else. Hopefully that makes
you're
sense.
vanilla. You're just plain.
Yeah, and like not even the good vanilla with the vanilla bean bits in it, like from Breyers.
No, the store brand, like plain vanilla with just fake vanilla in it. Yeah,
right. And it comes in like a 5-gallon tub, and it's just like, it's fake. You don't want to be fake on YouTube. The Smart Creator, how do you guys feel about live YouTube in order to gain watch time up? Any thoughts on live streams, Caleb?
I mean, you've definitely done them more than me, and you talk about that. Did you talk about that in the monetization lesson a little bit, about what the live stream for 365 days did for your channel?
A little bit. Many of you who are here did watch the income stream. I went live when the pandemic hit and just kind of be there to support. We did get a lot of watch time from a smaller group of people, and I'm very grateful that I went through that period. But it did stop the growth of my normal videos, because most people were getting served my bigger videos that were longer and that were about many different topics versus the pre-recorded videos, which are specifically built and with the right title, thumbnail, and a hook for that one specific topic. So I did see a little bit less growth, and I think that YouTube is doing a much better job of being able to separate content together. So although you might go live and it's much longer, now it seems like that it may not have as much an effect as it did for me with your pre-recorded VODs, your video on demands, your on-demand videos. But as far as like just trying to game the system to get higher watch time, it's not going to really matter. What it matters is if you have a lot of watch time on your YouTube lives, then more people on the outside after that live is done are going to see that being put into their home feed. And again, still many times people think that then might sabotage any other pre-recorded videos, which is why a lot of people now on YouTube will actually unlist their lives as soon as it's done. Live for live, pre-recorded for pre-recorded, and that's how a lot of people are doing it. Matt says, do you recommend contests or using a contest platform for subs, likes, etc., for contest entries to grow a channel? And if so, any recommended contest platforms? That's an interesting question. I always have like 50-50 feelings on using tools like that, because especially if you're trying to gain subscribers for contest purposes, you're only getting subscribers because mostly they want to get access to that particular contest, and hopefully they can come back and still will watch your videos, because you have to worry. If you're getting the right audience, cool, that works. But many people will join contests just to get the thing, and then they're not going to be quality subscribers who will watch your videos later, and that actually can hurt your channel. Any thoughts on that, Caleb?
Yeah, I agree. I think that platforms are like cracking down on that because they can see like someone gets a spike in subscribers and then it goes away, and like some platforms don't let you do that anymore. So even like the contest platforms that you might use, it's not a direct like connection with the platform anymore because like they might not want you to have people just subscribe for a contest and things like that. I think the time and effort you put into a contest, while you might get, if you already have an audience, you might get a few hundred subscribers or something like that. The time is probably better spent making a really great video that'll end up getting you subscribers for years instead of just this short burst of flyby people that are trying to win something.
True. That being said, on the Pokemon channel, I do giveaways and contests every single week. And I use a Google form to collect those subscriptions. So I use a Google form essentially to collect the YouTube usernames, and that automatically collects a person's email at the same time. I don't use that email later, though. That's very important. I don't put that into ConvertKit or anything like that because I haven't gotten permission to do that in this case. There are tools like King Sumo that allow you to collect things. Gleam.io is one that I've used before, which is something that you can sort of have people mark that they want further correspondence from you, and it can manage the subscriptions, and it can manage, people going to your Instagram. They get a point and an additional entry for the giveaway. But I just simply use a Google form now to collect those. I pin that comment at the top of the live stream, and then I have people leave their YouTube username, and then I use what's called the Wheel of Names at wheelofnames.com to copy and paste those names from a spreadsheet, which are automatically populated into that wheel, and then award those cards. And again, because I know I'm giving away Pokemon cards, I know that those people who sign up for that are interested in my content because that's so focused, and that's exactly what I know my channel is about. Here's another
Let's do some rapid fire, I was going to say.
Okay, let's go quick. Simple how-tos versus having high-level knowledge. Is this a focus? For example, how to use the mic from start to finish versus here's a good mic. Good luck.
I think they're asking if the course is detailed or it's all theory. Like, is it step-by-step showing you how to do things, or is it just like us pontificating for a few hours? And I would say this live stream is the like theory based stuff that we're talking about, and the course is like, here's how you do this, here's what button you click, here's a spreadsheet that you need to fill out to do the research of your competitors, and it's definitely more step by step in the course.
Bayerberg says, question for Caleb, pierogies or kielbasa's?
This is probably based on my language, which is Polish, but Pat, you're also Polish, so I think you should answer this too. I'm gonna go with pierogi because we make pierogi every Christmas, which is like potatoes and other things in some dough. So can't go wrong with potatoes. Yeah.
Says that sour cream did with some pepper on it. Boom. Donezo. Fit over 50 says mental tips for restarting after a long break. My quick answer will be just get started and get over that. Like, just get started again. That's the best way to get over a break, is just get started again. You don't have to apologize for it either. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's been 3 months, I'm so sorry. No, just get into the good content again. People who see that video will likely not even know that you went through a break. That's going to be most of your viewers anyway, and just keep going. Angela says, I'm a teacher becoming a business owner. I've purchased other YouTube programs, but the content was more of a thesis and theory. Is this course chunked into exact steps of what I need to do? I think we just answered that question for you, Angela, based on the other one, which is this is definitely how to watch the short video, go do the thing, watch the short video, go do the thing. And again, it just removes a ton of stuff about YouTube that you don't need to know in order to kind of get going. Don says, does it confuse the algorithm if you change the title and thumbnail too many times? There is such a thing as confusing the algorithm. For example, I know that if you have a very successful video, if you were to change the title and or thumbnail, you could potentially slow the growth, right? Because now it's not meeting as many people's needs, or it's just not as curious as it was. So if you have a very successful video and it's like, it's pops is what we call it in the YouTube world, don't touch it. Like, don't touch it. All I would do is add things into the description or change the end screen so that people who watch that video can go to the next videos that you want. And again, that should help it even further. But as far as like in the beginning of a life of a video, changing the title and thumbnail, I think you want to figure it out until YouTube figures it out. So change it as many times as you need to until you finally get a hit. What I would do, however, is change the title thumbnail, look at it for a couple hours, see if that makes any change. It might go up, it might go down, and then do it again until it's in a good trajectory. Let's see. Question from April and Roy. For those of us who love long form videos. What are your thoughts about creating long form recorded or live videos when starting a YouTube channel? Caleb?
I mean, it's going to be hard for your channel to grow early on and get new eyeballs to it, with doing long form, because people are going to be less likely to click into a 30-minute, hour-long, 2-hour-long video of someone they've never heard of before. Your super fans are going to be the ones that watch those, or people, like your podcast and that sort of thing. So it might be worthwhile to experiment with shorter form stuff that you can maybe pull from the longer form things you record. So I know that with your income stream, Pat, there were certain moments in your live streams that we would pull out, maybe record a new intro or outro to, and there were great moments that happened in the live stream. Maybe you were teaching something, or something funny happened, or it was a story, and you turned it into a more on-demand 8-minute long video.
Mm-hmm.
And then that video could perform way better than an hour and a half live stream, with all the Q&A like we're doing now.
Yeah, exactly. I know a few other YouTubers who will go live and they'll answer questions, and those lives with a bunch of questions aren't really helpful for anybody coming in new who may or may not, resonate with those questions. However, they pull each question out individually and then pop them into its own unique YouTube video, which of course is perfect for that question as far as SEO and title and thumbnail, and that could work really well too. I think it's going to be really up to you. That being said, I know there's also some very successful channels who do a lot of long form how-to content. So how to create a Facebook ad. It doesn't matter who's teaching that. If you teach the whole thing, then you're helping somebody, right? And you become more of a resource versus a personality there. And that's because you're teaching something and there's a very clear end goal. Then people are usually willing to stick around to watch that more all the way through. Launch Attack says, possibly a silly question and unsure if it was already answered, but I just tuned in. But would your course work if I never show yourself on camera? Yes, actually, it was actually the first question that we answered today, and yes, it absolutely will. You do not need to put your face on camera in order to succeed. Let's keep going here. Question, how should I charge for my course? This is sort of a question outside of the world of YouTube, but I think that you need to charge what it is that it's, the value that you can provide. And what I would recommend doing is maybe walk a person through that course, maybe in, more individually or more personally first, to make sure that you have that course sort of figured out. You have the ability to answer all their questions that they might have, and you also have a testimonial at the end of it as well when you get that person that result. And when you get that person that result, that's when you unlock the true value of what this is that you have to offer, because then you can charge what you know it's worth, and that's very important too. Scott, thank you so much for the super chat. Completely unnecessary, but I appreciate you for that support. Pat or Caleb, do you have any recommendations on how to search, gather, and coalesce research information for channel material?
Yeah, I mean, this is a bulk part of Module 1 in the course that Pat goes through. Go find all the channels that are in your niche that are related to what you make. To get started with that in YouTube Creator Studio, it tells you what channels the people that watch your video also watch. It's like right there on your audience tab, over on the right side. So go find them all, and then see what videos they've made in the archive of videos over the years that they've made. Sort by most popular if you want to. So sort by most recent. Just kind of see what other people are doing. And another good resource that Pat recommends is going to find books on your topic that you're talking about. Go to the table of contents, and that's a mine that you can you can dig through to get ideas for things to make for your channel.
That's right. And I have this like strand of hair that is just like stuck on my, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, there, fixed it. Okay. From Jeremy, once you get 1,000 subscribers and the required watch hours, is it guaranteed that YouTube accepts you as an ad monetized partner? You have to apply after you get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And I go through this in the monetization section. In fact, I go through exactly the steps of what needs to happen and then what happens afterwards. But it's not guaranteed because certain countries still don't have the YouTube Partner Program. It's very few countries, but that's sort of one thing. If you have strikes on your videos, then you'll have to maybe appeal those or what have you. If you have some copyright guideline or community strikes, then it will not work out. But it's basically, that's it. YouTube will have a real person go and check to see if the channel's, going to be approved, and then you can appeal if you're not from there. Let's see. Creating a podcast, having an issue with the art I need done. I'm looking for realism for the logo and the website art. What's your advice? And do you know anyone? So this is a podcast art specific question, but there is something in YouTube that you have to focus on, and that's your thumbnail with required to artwork as well. We do recommend checking out Canva if you're doing this on your own. It's a very easy platform to start. It's sort of like Photoshop, but much, much easier to use, and you have all the elements that they have available that you can use as far as like arrows and helping you like take background out of your photos and stuff so you can pop your face on there or the thing that you're focusing on, etc. I don't know anybody in particular that I could share right now, but there are a plethora of very talented artists at a relatively cheap price over at Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. You can also go to Upwork.com. And there's also a lot of agencies and other places. I saw Dr. Applesauce here talking about, potentially outsourcing his thumbnails and such to people too. But there are definitely artists out there that can help you with that kind of stuff. And then again, simplify, right? Especially for podcast artwork. Remember, people are viewing their podcast artwork usually on their device at like 55 by 55 pixels. So a lot of that super detail that you put in there is going to disappear. So what at a high level can capture a person's attention, and then you can go from there. Let's keep going. Question from Jan. I used a song in 4 of my videos that was specifically stated by a few channels that uploaded that it's copyright free, but got a copyright claim anyway and dispute got rejected. What to do? So that's very interesting. If the video, you can replace the audio of that video, right? Caleb, you can sort of, it depends. If you're talking over it, then it's going to be very difficult. But if, for example, it's just background music during some showcasing of something, then you can just swap out the music and then you'll be fine. But just because somebody says something is copyright free, you got to make sure that you do have the license for it or that it is in fact copyright free. Also, these things change too, right? A person might have bought the license or bought the ownership of that thing and now is going out and doing it. I would also ask questions to those people who said it was copyright free and just go, hey, what the deal here? Maybe there's some sort of unique ID that you can put in your YouTube channel description for those videos to kind of pass. That sometimes happens with things like Epidemic Sound. You get a license and you put like a key or a license inside of your description to pass those checks and whatnot. But any other thoughts about that?
Yeah, I say it depends on what the video is. If it's like a video that you could just put a new song in and re-upload it because you want the monetization for it, then do that. Or recreate it. If it's like a teaching video, update it, recreate it, take down the other one. If you're not trying to monetize that video, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Copyright strikes are not the same as like your channel strikes.
Yep.
Copyright is just like, you can't monetize this video. And that even happens when I have licenses for songs that I've paid for the license and they still like have issues. You have to work it out. But maybe just recreate those videos or take them down or replace the song and re-upload, that sort of thing.
True. That's actually a very good point. It just essentially means you won't be able to monetize that, but it doesn't affect your channel really in any other way. It doesn't affect its, how it's going to be pushed out in the algorithm and whatnot. And it just means that artist who owns that song is getting paid instead of you for any ads that might be put onto that song. But a guideline strike is one where if you get like 3 of those, then your channel could be potentially banned. Let's see. Just throwing it out there. Hope this is helpful. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I hate when creators apologize. I love when they focus on being excited about being back. That's a great thought. Thank you, Teague. I agree 100%. Dr. Applesauce says, currently finishing the last few videos to schedule for next week as we're going on family vacation for a week. Looking forward to the break, and my followers will never know I left. Exactly. That's batch processing is just amazing as far as a tactic. And if you have, for me, I have specific days of the week where I do certain things. Monday is my writing day. Tuesday is my filming day. Here we are filming on a Tuesday. And that's very important because it allows me to, as I approach that day or I get, ready for that day, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know all the equipment I need, and I can bang through a few videos, Wednesday, a few podcasts, and then I'm able to sort of get ahead on things so that if I get sick or if I want to travel or if I just don't feel like doing it this week, then I don't have to fight it and I can just find my creative sort of energy and then, do the videos when that happens. But that's a really, really good thing, and I hope you enjoy your vacation, Dr. Applesauce. You deserve it, and yeah, we won't even know. We won't even know. Oh, we'll know, but your audience won't know. What's your guys' opinion on making a YouTube channel in a different language, such as Spanish. Want to tackle that one first?
I mean, if you know how to speak Spanish, like there's no reason not to make multiple videos. Actually, a friend of mine, Armando, in the filmmaking space, he has a Spanish channel and an English channel, and he will make the same video in both languages. You know, even if he's talking on camera,
Separate
he'll
channel?
re-record it in Spanish. Yeah, it's a separate channel entirely. But you know, the videos will upload at the same time in different languages, and that's to reach more people. Because yeah, you could add subtitles to things, but it's not the same for people. So if you're bilingual or trilingual or quadlingual, I don't know if anyone calls it those words, but if you are and you want to go through the work of doing that, if your audience is in those places, you can look at your analytics and be like, okay, I have a lot of viewers in Mexico, so maybe I should make my videos in Spanish too, or find another country and see what language that is. I know some of the bigger channels are starting to do this as well. Pat, you said Mr. Beast is doing how many languages for his videos now?
He's trying to do as many as he can. I mean, he's doing like Korean. He's got Japanese and a few other languages as well, Spanish, and it's like Mr. Beast Espanol, and he just will have those other videos kind of dubbed over. So it is a different voice, but they spend the time and money to do that because they know those audiences prefer those videos in their home language. And I think that's the big lesson here. So yeah, I think if you were to create one channel and it's in Spanish, then cool, make it Spanish and be the best YouTube channel in Spanish about that topic. And in fact, that is where likely you'll have less competition than trying to go English if that's something that that you can do. Two at once can be a little difficult, especially if you're just starting out, but you can add the second or other languages later once you sort of prove it. Let's see here. Many thanks. Just redid the intro video for not yet subscribers and filming tonight, even though a cap fell off and won't be to the dentist until tomorrow. Sorry about your cap, my man. But so what he's talking about here is there's a couple sort of like intro videos that you can create for your channel. You can have videos on your channel page set up so that if they're not subscribed yet, you can have a little welcome intro video and you can sort of have a call to action. Hey, welcome to the channel. First time meeting here. Here's what my channel is about, etc. Also, welcome to Tobias, who just joined YouTube from scratch. Devin also joined Making of a Membership Community for free, by the way. But that's from our workshop in SPI Pro. Tobias, welcome in. And you can create a video for those who are already subscribed. However, I've experimented with changing up that video, and a welcome video is great. You want to experiment with that and see how well it does at getting new subscribers, obviously. But what I love to do is for not yet subscribed people, display featured at the top of my channel the most subscribed video that I have. And you're able to see this inside of your analytics, which videos are providing the most subscribers. And then that way, you just know that that video is a piece of content that your target audience, who will eventually make its way to your channel page, will likely enjoy. And yes, it might be one people have seen already, but if we know that it's getting a lot of subscribers, why not use that one? So something to experiment with and see and sort of track. And again, that's how you know. That's, again, the beauty of YouTube. YouTube gives you data, and you can now know the answer to things instead of like a lot of us in the podcasting world, which we kind of shoot and hope kind of thing. Let's see. From Joanne, my work merges a lot of things. For a while, I did robots. Now I'm focusing on painting. So I get hung up as my work keeps changing. Does the course help finding the focus niche to stick with? It does. Actually, it will encourage you quite heavily in the beginning to pick a lane, essentially, because that's a big mistake that I made on the Pat Flynn channel. I have, even though it's about entrepreneurship, a lot of interest. And think about it from a viewer's perspective. So a person, like, you might get a lot of views, but it's going to be hard to create like a audience, if that makes sense. There's a difference between views and an audience. Someone who will sit in the seat and watch multiple videos and binge watch, which is where you get a lot of the push from YouTube, is when people do that. So if you have multiple interests, that's very difficult to happen. For example, a person might find me for my podcasting tutorial. Cool. They might even subscribe because they're like, oh, I want more of this. And then the next video is about search engine optimization. And the next video after that might be about the Switch Pod. And it's been very difficult to capture an audience who will salivate at every new upload. That is not happening on the Pat Flynn channel because every upload may be different. Now, I can change that by focusing on just one thing, but that's very difficult for me to do just personality-wise. And it is a Pat Flynn channel, so that is my personality. Versus the Pokemon channel, I want subscribers to, as soon as that notification comes up, to want to click because they know exactly the kinds of things they're getting, or they know there's a certain level of quality in it that's going to entertain them because I know exactly who they are and I'm not focused on other things. I'm not focused on the trophy cards in the Pokemon space. I'm not focused on the investment opportunities in the Pokemon space because A, I'm not an expert at those things, and B, there are other people who are already doing things much better. I found my little spot in that space, and now I'm leaning into that even more. Let's see here. David, I have a specific idea of the content I'd like to focus on. Will your course help with determining the best way to approach a predetermined niche rather than finding the hottest niche? Yes. Essentially, the first part of the course is all about selecting the lane that you're going into, and it's definitely that. Any other thoughts on niche selection? Because we've had a few questions about that.
Yeah, I think that you need to find something that you're really interested in because you're going to be making a lot of videos about it. So just hopping on the latest trend of something isn't going to, have you stick around for potentially years to keep making videos about it. So I think that you don't need to just hop on the latest trend. I think it's important to know what's going on and what other people are doing. You can pull in parts of that, but I don't think you necessarily have to pick a big part of your channel being your niche just on something that's trendy.
Exactly. I'm answering Rick's question here. I answered it already for you, Rick, but I'm going to put the email here that I recommended you reach out to because you should be able to get access to that inside of the Academy. But help@teamspi.com, Rick, is where you'd want to go for that. Also, Kobe Collects. Wow. Thank you so much for the super chat. $10 super chat and support. Thank you so much for that. Thanks for all the great content, Pat. I keep gifting your book to people, so super fans, I'm imagining. My brother-in-law is the latest. Thank you for that. Pokey Kobe here lost that channel, started this one after. I figured that was you, Pokey Kobe. But again, thank you so much for your support. Cool. Setting specific days.
Can you go back up to, sorry, I was going to say, can you go back up to Joanne's
Did I miss one?
question? It's just above Kobe's super chat.
Is it? I don't have it. Oh, actually, it's not. Oh, I see it now. This one. My work merges a lot of things.
Oh, we did that one. My bad.
Yeah. Oh, all
there
good.
was two niche ones back to back, and I got confused.
All good. So Carrie here says, should I use my name as my YouTube channel or use the name of my podcast, Successfully Depressed? The channel will have my podcast and other content for solopreneurs navigating mental health. In my opinion, it could go either way. However, you also want to think about your future and what you want, right? Because if you have a YouTube channel that is essentially your name, it's going to be easy to connect with you once people get to find you and know you. However, you're going to have to work on your videos to make sure people understand what the topic is about, and then they get to know you, right? Carrie is not going to be the draw. It's going to be the topic that you're talking about, but then they get to know Carrie behind the camera and who is, the person teaching. But let's say in the future you want to go in a different direction. If it's Carrie, then you have the more likely ability to do that. However, if, again, you don't have the sort of clear, this is what this channel is about until you explain yourself, which you have to earn and get there, right, Caleb? So how would you recommend Carrie sort of focus on it? You talk about this in a specific lesson inside of the course, right?
Yeah. I think if you already have an existing brand, it is helpful to bring that brand over. Also, something that's intriguing, like Successfully Depressed, to me, I like that because it makes me go, oh, wait, what? So that early on could, I think, be a good thing to name your channel and brand it that way, because I'm more interested in that than a random person's name, at least in the beginning. And I think what tends to happen is people sometimes switch to their first and last name for the channel. Like, I know we did that with you, Pat. You probably had over 100,000 subscribers. It used to be like Smart Passive Income channel, and then it turned into Pat Flynn because you became the brand and you were doing things outside of Smart Passive Income topics. So, you could go either way. I think if you already have your pod named that, it could also be the name of your channel.
Yes. Awesome. I think we hit every question, which I wasn't sure if we were going to do that because it was like the backlog was big for a while. But again, this is the last day at 9 p.m. Essentially in 11 hours. The cart will close and the doors will close to YouTube from scratch. And there's a link right there on the screen. You can actually check it out in the description as well. And we hope you give it a chance. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you get in there and you're like, hey, this is too beginner for me, we do have a lot of advanced things for you in there as well. But there is a rather very heavy foundational aspect to the course to help you. And that can help you even if you already started a YouTube channel and you're maybe at 1 to 2,000 subs and you need to get it really going again because it's sort of just plateaued. That will be there for you, and we will be here for you. Course material is great. We just continue to kind of fine tune it, and we got a lot more stuff to share with you. Dennis here, as we finish up, says, "Hey, Pat, does YouTube let you change your channel name?" Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I've changed my channel name a few times, and that's totally okay to do. Everything else changes along with it once people once that happens. Vivo Key says, "Can you talk about copyright for performing or teaching music?" So that was a great question. And Caleb, I don't know if you want to start with this one, but this is coming in from Vivo Keys. And if you are, for example, going to be teaching music or playing music, it is something to be aware of for sure, especially if you're teaching that kind of stuff and maybe using other music as examples, right?
Yeah, and it comes down to fair use. Like how much are you using? Are you re-uploading the whole song and trying to make money off of people listening to it, or are you, doing a cover, which is fine, or you're playing a snippet of it and then you're teaching people how to play that? So it all comes down to fair use. So I'd what that means, which is kind of a legal thing of maybe you can use 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or something like that. And if you're using it in a way, it's okay. But definitely something to look into.
Yes. There's BMG rights management, as Vivo Key says here. So you can sort of get to that level where you are then allowed to use that music, but you might have to pay for it and get a license. There are a lot of YouTubers who are very successful who use just snippets of video and or music. And I think it's like under 10 seconds, you should be okay if you then sort of explain it and fair use it. But if you're just kind of trying to make money off of it and rehash and redo what they're doing, if you're adding some commentary, if you're adding some value on top of it and teaching, sort of breaking it down, for example, I know a channel who actually there's what's that channel that is very, very detailed in breaking down like different kinds of music and the history of hip hop or certain Vox, I think, is the channel.
Vox, yeah.
Yeah, Vox, yeah. They do have a particular series of videos that goes into certain music and theory and stuff, and they share clips of those things, and they show like why things are the way they are. It's so interesting, but it does use specific clips from those pieces of music. And of course, if you do get copyright struck in, you have the ability to make a case for it, and you can go from there. Do you have a resource for where to look into that? Honestly, the best resource for that would be whatever the latest YouTube videos are that discuss that topic. There might be some attorneys or lawyers who discuss that. An attorney or a lawyer could help, but there are some YouTube channels that can that probably give you some really good support with that too. I know Tim Schmoyer, Schmoyer, Tim Schmoyer, another person who teaches YouTube on YouTube. He has had a lot of videos about fair use and use cases for that, where you can sort of remain safe as you go along.
I'm going to drop in the chat just Google's help article about fair use right now, just for her to.
Cool. Thank you. Do we discuss SEO techniques so your video is searchable? We do discuss that because we have essentially in the course, we talk about the idea that you can create a video that is more search-based, and you can create a video that's more browse and suggested-based. And that is basically, where is that traffic? Ultimately, do we want it to come from? And it's funny because a lot of my videos that were initially created for browse and search, or excuse me, browse and suggested, like my deep fake audio video that talks about the tools over at Descript, was built with browse and suggested in mind. And 81% of the views are from browse and suggested. But within the last 48 hours, I noticed recently, because I just did a video on this, most of the views are actually coming in from search. So it can change and they can mix, but your approach to a video is very important. And if you approach a video with search in mind, we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the person who is searching for that information, which is why it's important to, when you have that video, for example, people are searching, how do I use ScreenFlow, which is a screen recording tool. Cool. You have a thumbnail that has the ScreenFlow logo on it to have people connect to that tool. And then maybe some interesting things about the fact that it's easy, or a quick tutorial, or a 5-minute tutorial, or something that would get a person who is, again, searching for information about that, probably wants answers quickly, then want to click on that thumbnail, and then you get right into the content because, again, that's what the person's thinking and wants as they're getting into that. We teach that. We talk about that story and sort of that arc as people are coming through your videos and such. Dawn says, what's the student discount? I'm not going to share the code right here, but if you do want to get that student discount, it was probably emailed to you, or you can go to help@teamspi.com and email, and we'll verify that you are a student and can get you that discount code for 10% off. And again, if you are a student, look out for that discount code. And if you need that, help@teamspi.com. We'll verify that you are a student, and we'll go from there. Awesome. All right, let's see. Do you have, okay, we're good. I think that is it. And Carrie says, hey, thanks, guys, signing up for your course today. Thank you, Carrie. Looking forward to seeing you in there and helping you out. And we are at now the top of the hour, so we're going to finish up. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time and attention today. And we look forward to seeing you in the course. Caleb, any final words of advice for people on YouTube doing the YouTube thing?
Man, I mean, go through the course and then see if you have any questions after that. I feel like you and I poured so much into it the past 1 or 2 months that we've been working on it and filming it and editing it and putting it together for people. But to go back to the SEO searchable thing, like Pat said, I think there are a lot of ways you can make your video more searchable and more friendly to someone like Google. And that's having a title that has maybe the search term in it, but then your thumbnail is where you get a little bit more creative and more enticing for people, because when they search for your video, that thumbnail is going to show up. And also I teach in the course how to do chapters and titling those really well too, because Google will crawl through your video. All the words you say, they get auto-generated with captions, and they'll look at your chapters. And now Google is sending people to directly certain parts of videos that answer the questions that people are searching for, not just, hey, here's the video. It's like, no, go to 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and this is where they talk about it. So making sure your videos have proper captions, making sure your videos are chaptered well, that's going to help them in search too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. There's a link on the screen to join if you have the opportunity. If not, no worries. All good. We're here to support, and we look forward to seeing your success on YouTube as well. And again, we just tried to remove as much of the overwhelm as possible in this course. It's not everything about YouTube, because that would just take months to get through. This is one where short videos, you do the action right after, and you can get to 1,000 subscribers. That's the goal, and we look forward to being a resource in us and talking to you, because you're going to offer a testimonial because it was so good, right? That's our goal. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.